So I'm here to do a sports show, actually, the Drizzle Sports Report, which I have not done in a really long time. So opening day to baseball is less than 10 days away. Um, and I'm really excited as a baseball fan to finally have baseball back. And it's going to be different this year because actually I believe that fans will be allowed at some of these games. And I've watched some preseason highlights from some of the games. A lot of the teams that are expected to be good look pretty decent. And there was some interesting trades in the offseason as well. So I'm looking forward to that. The NFL, we've had a lot of really interesting things going on regarding free agency and trades. So let's highlight a few ones that were kind of interesting. So Matthew Stafford, the former Lions quarterback, was traded to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Goff and I believe a second round pick. That was kind of surprising. And the 49ers and Dolphins have been trading uh, draft picks basically back and forth. Um, and the other team that's highly active right now is the Philadelphia Eagles, who have decided to trade their first round draft pick to move back in the draft, which means that they're happy with whoever they sign, Joe Flacco and Jalen Hurts. I still think that that's a bad idea, but whatever. Um, the Steelers give a huge contract to Ben Roethlisberger, who's near retirement, which I think is a really bad idea for your franchise because this guy could go down at any point in time and be out for the rest of the year, and you would have a backup quarterback who has only played in 7 games in his career. Not smart. Not smart by any means, Steelers. Um, Tua is not being traded from Miami. He's staying put, so it sounds like they're going to be using him as a starting quarterback unless they can go out and get somebody who actually is a little bit better than that, who has more experience. I just don't see that happening. Miami, to me, because of the trades that they're making with these draft picks, um, they're looking to collect draft picks for this year and next year to be able to draft a whole new team to upgrade. Um, so the Vikings have also been highly involved and they've been signing free agents as well, but they also lost one of their best cornerbacks today, who was actually signed a 1 year deal with the Cowboys. Um, so, and then we're going to get into my horrible, horrible Chicago Bears right now, which is just horrendous and horrible, and I cannot tolerate it anymore. Please fire the general manager and coach, for the love of God. Oh. Um, so, here's what the Bears have done so far. Um, Deontay Williams, who was 2 years ago on the Kansas City Chiefs, uh, he was basically almost nominated for Super Bowl MVP when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Um, Now the Bears get him on a 1 year deal to back up Montgomery, which I think is a good idea because their running game was horrendous last year. Desmond Tufant replaces Kyle Fuller. Basically, the Bulls are sorry, blah blah, wrong team. The Bears have also gone out and offered Allen Robinson an extension, a franchise tag, a guaranteed contract, which he's supposed to be signing. Here's my problem with this quarterback situation. Mitchell Trubisky basically just walks. You don't even give him a contract. You don't negotiate anything. You let him sign with Buffalo for 3 years to be a backup quarterback. That was your franchise quarterback. Then you bring in Andy Dalton, Andy Dumbass is what I call him, who is literally the worst. Let me rephrase that. The worst playoff quarterback ever in the league, as far as I'm concerned. This guy throws so many interceptions. He should just rename himself Mr. Pick. Mr. Pick, Mr. Pick 6, I'm gonna throw it right to the defense. Because that's what the Bears are gonna have to deal with this moron in charge of their team. And then with Nagy and Pace just driving the dagger into the Bears' heart of the fans, I'm just, oh my God, I'm just so irritated with management with the Bears right now. It's not even funny. And let's go back to the Bears' rival, the Packers. The Packers have to pay Aaron Rodgers a salary bonus, which could add up to $75 million over the next 10 years. Who in their right mind is going to pay that? You have to be stupid as hell to pay that for a quarterback. I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers is good, but he's not that good. Come on. And Jerry Jones has also done the same thing with Dak Prescott. He's offered him, like, I don't even know. It's some ridiculous amount for like 7 or 8 years. And I'm like, who in their right mind wants that type of player on their team if he's demanding that type of money? Like, I'm sorry, but you're not worth like $100 million. Like, how many times have you been to the playoffs? How many times have you been destroyed with this guy in charge of your team? How many playoff games have you won with this guy? 3 or 4? Why didn't you go out and get a decent quarterback? Deshaun Watson's right there, right down from where you are. You could have talked to the Texans and got a deal with that. And then let's bring up the Deshaun Watson thing and all these sexual assault charges that are against this guy. Would you want that distraction on your team? Not me. I wouldn't want this guy on my team in the face of my franchise knowing that he's got all these lawsuits against him. So, let's go to basketball. The trade deadline ends, I believe, tomorrow. So far, the Bulls have been heavy active in trading, and I'm very happy for that as a Bulls fan. The Knicks, the Magic, the Warriors, and I'm also hearing that Lonzo Ball, because the Bulls have already tried to get him in free agency, and the Pelicans have refused 3 trade offers, which, to me, you have nothing going for your team right now other than Zion. Every other player on that team, I guarantee, will be traded at the end of this year. Lonzo will be a free agent, and I'm predicting Lonzo will be signed by the Bulls in free agency. Now, I'm not the biggest Lonzo fan in the world, but I respect his accomplishments, and I also respect his brother's accomplishments for the Hornets. So the Bulls go out, they get 3 really good defensive players and a center, which we've needed a center since last year. So Arturas has done what management should have been doing years ago for the Bulls to rebuild this team. I'm also happy that the Knicks are finally doing well again. The Nets are finally doing well again. The Heat, most of the teams that were good when I was growing up are starting to get better. I am kind of concerned about the Magic because they're going the complete opposite direction than they should be. In fact, I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs for another few years at this point. The Bucks are definitely a threat in that division, and I could see the Nets and the Bucks going to a 7-game series in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think, I hate to say this, but I would pick the Nets because of James Harden. Now with LeBron James going out with an injury for the Lakers, this is going to hurt the Lakers big time because they need to pick up the pace here. They have to go out and sign some players to replace some players that are injured. Who do I feel is going to win the NBA championship this year? I think it's going to be a team from the East. It's either going to be the Nets or the Milwaukee Bucks. There's not a team in the West that to me is scary to the point to where they're like a San Antonio Spurs, like when Tim Duncan and Tony Parker were around, or like a Los Angeles Lakers with Kobe Bryant and Shaq. There's not a team in the West that's like that. No team in the West scares me. They're like pussy asses. Like, seriously, none of the teams in that division on the West scare me one bit. Now, let's get into updated WrestleMania. So, WrestleMania right now as it stands, Rhea Ripley will be facing Asuka, taking Charlotte's spot because Charlotte tested positive for COVID. So she will not compete at WrestleMania. I've heard rumors around going rampant around, oh, well, she's going to show up at WrestleMania no matter what, blah, blah, blah. No, you have to quarantine for 14 days. It's only been like 10. So she's not going to be there. I mean, it would be like a day after WrestleMania when she can actually return. WWE finally grants Andrade his release. And he's already within talks with Ring of Honor, and I believe Impact. Selena Vega has also been talks with wrestling companies about signing with somebody. The only update that I have on that is she's within talks with 3 different companies, and she has signed a 1-year deal, but there's no information on what company she's signed with yet. It sounds like Braun Strowman is going to be facing Shane McMahon. Bad Bunny is going to be facing The Miz in some type of weird match that they haven't even announced yet. Sasha versus Bianca still is happening. AJ and his bodyguard are going to be tagging together to face the New Day. We still have absolutely no idea what the tag team championship on SmackDown side is going to happen. We don't know anything about that. I think that Roman Reigns is going to have 2 challengers, and I think Daniel Bryan will be added to that main event. The Fiend versus Randy Orton is going to happen. No Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is very sad because I always love those matches, and they're not even doing that this year. WWE is looking to have at least 40,000 fans for WrestleMania this year. I think that that's going to decrease based on COVID because the state of Florida is a high risk for COVID right now. I'm only predicting about 28,000 people possibly at that, maybe. People reported during Fastlane that the live stream on Peacock was very slow and lagging, and you couldn't fast forward or rewind. Also, most of the content on the WWE Network will not be transferred right away to Peacock. A lot of the older content, such as old episodes of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, Sunday Night Heat, WCW, Nitro, Thunder, all the older wrestling companies, all that stuff is not going to be on the new version of this app until August 1st. So I'm just saying, if you're a true fan of wrestling, you might want to wait it out till August 1st until we know for a fact that this stuff will be aired on the network that Peacock is going to be adding. Peacock is offering a deal for the wrestling fans right now for WrestleMania. It's $2.99 a month, basically, so $3 basically a month for all the Peacock content, plus live sports, and your WWE membership included, and you get to watch WrestleMania for like $3. Now, me as a fan, I'm kind of up in the air about this because I want to watch WrestleMania, but I also am a fan of the older content and some of the older shows. And if I can't watch my older shows, and if I have to get stuck with just watching modern stuff, to me, I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air about that. AEW officially signs Red Velvet, which this is something that should have happened a long time ago, in my honest opinion. There will be a Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes reality TV show, which will be aired, it sounds like, on TNT eventually. Um, and what I really like about AEW right now is they're bringing in so many different talents from all over the world. I mean, Shaq even wrestled for them. The former Big Show, Paul White, is now an announcer, and he's also going to be wrestling for them. Um, John Moxley has done an amazing job for them. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, just the whole roster for AEW. Like, my God, they are just ripping ass and taking names. It is such a great company, and they are really putting all their heart and soul into what's going on behind the scenes. And Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross and Taz even have been doing an amazing job on commentary, and I really enjoy all that. Impact Wrestling has also been very involved with AEW. There's been crossroads matches and pay-per-view events, matches that we never thought we would ever see. I really dig what Impact is doing too, because they're bringing in, lots of international talent, and they have homegrown talent too from Canada that they've been pushing. That's really about it. That's all I have to really talk about. I just wanted to do an episode of the sports show, give you some ups and downs on the world of sports and what's going on right now. Ronda Rousey, guys, is in the media now. She's finally doing public appearances, and she's doing radio shows, and she's being a little bit more vocal. And we don't know. Maybe she'll come back to wrestling or martial arts, UFC, who knows. I would like to see Ronda Rousey come back to WWE, because, my God, Raw just needs something for their women's division at this point. And I want to point out that Bayley still has no match at WrestleMania. And last year she was headlining a WrestleMania match. So this makes no sense to me whatsoever, WWE. Like, what are you doing? And Carmella too. Like, why are you bringing in Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil to host WrestleMania when you can have a Bayley and Carmella commentary, which you would get more eyes on that than a Hulk Hogan and a Titus O'Neil? Just pointing out that, to me, would be a better show. But it's up to WWE programming and their creative control. Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon, whatever. And by the way, Raw has been absolutely terrible the last few weeks. Like, boring, snooze fest, boring, horrible, absolutely horrible. SmackDown, in between. It's okay. It's not the greatest show. It's just okay. I'm just concerned that all these matches that are being booked for this WrestleMania are not going to keep people's interest. And they want this huge event, but you have to have the matches and the talent to be able to do this. Without a Dave Bautista, a Undertaker, a Triple H, a Rock, a Kurt Angle, all the old stars, all you have is Edge. And Edge is not going to beat Roman Reigns. I would be very surprised if that would happen. Daniel Bryan could possibly beat Roman Reigns. In fact, I would not be surprised if that wouldn't happen. But no Brock Lesnar either. That's the other thing. No Brock Lesnar. Like, he has pretty much said no. He's not coming back for WrestleMania. Anyways, wax on, wax off. I'm going to get out of your hair. I just wanted to do this quick video, keep you guys posted on what's going on in the world of sports and wrestling. And I'll be back later.